Hello everyone, Chaos here, and welcome to another old-school RuneScape video. Today, my in-depth Zebak guide. The first path we'll analyze is Zebak and its obstacle course. Here, you will need to nourish a tree in the middle of the room while defending it from some crocodiles running around. The gist of this puzzle is fairly easy. Grab one of the jugs scattered throughout the room, and then head to either corner of the area and avoid both the traps and poison trails on your way to and back from a waterfall at the end of the path. Click on it to fill your jug and then run back to water the tree. Each of the 4 paths have different patterns, so you can try all of them to see which one suits you best. I personally run both of the southern ones because you can get to and back very quickly without taking any damage, and of course, if you time it properly, it's going to be a 1 tick to and back from the place. For a solo run, you need to go all the way up to 200 health for the tree, and any subsequent group member will increase this counter by another 200. Meaning that everyone will have to do this process at least twice. I say at least because there's a catch to this. If you fill your jug of water and then take damage from either the spikes or the poison trail, your water will drain significantly and you will have to repeat this process even further. Always step on safe tiles and avoid getting hit to save up on HP as well. When you come back, you will notice that there are crocodiles spawning throughout the room. If they make it to the tree, they will start damaging it, lowering the total counter at the top of your screen. You can either kill them or freeze them in place for you to finish the job. On a team, you could assign people to defend the tree, and then the rest of the team can run jugs of water and bring them back to the middle. It is important to mention that the waterfalls will deplete after you drain them, and it will take a different amount of time for water to respawn. The less people on your party, the slower it will happen. For solos, you should always move to different spots, as the spawn timer is going to be detrimental to your completion time. When you have done this properly and maybe have all of the red crocodiles under control, the counter will eventually reach 100% and you may now proceed to face Zebak. The beginning of the fight is fairly simple. I personally use a Bando's Godsword while waiting for his attack, and spec him twice before switching to ranged and walk away. For his magic attack, he will spit out a jug which will explode in midair, tossing out a red orb. For his ranged attack, he will do the same, but this time with a big rock which will detonate to land on you and your team. In lower difficulties, there's plenty of time to react, so no need to panic. You also have a lot of time to switch prayers if you decide to prayer flick. Eventually, Zebak will do one of 2 things. Let's cover the harder one first. Instead of a big jug or rock, he will spit out multiple small ones which will land on the floor along with some acid pools. When you see both at the same time, the idea is to push the jugs in any direction towards the rocks, and then clicking again while they're rolling to break them so they can clear some tiles behind the rocks with the water they spill out on detonation. This will act as your safe spot since, after a few seconds, Zebak will let out a massive roar, dealing damage to every tile on the arena, except for the 3 tiles behind the rocks he spat out. After the roar, you may continue attacking as usual from anywhere of the safe tiles that do not have any poison. The second one is quite similar, but much more forgiving in my opinion. He will also spit out a bunch of acid on the arena, and will make some rocks fall on either side which will cause massive waves to disrupt the fight. There will be empty spaces between the waves, so this is where you want to stand. Otherwise, you will be pushed to the water, and you will have to swim your way back, obviously taking a big chunk of damage. For the final mechanic of the fight, once Zebak reaches 25% health, he will make a particular sound which will let you know that he is about to start attacking faster, also known as his enraged face. In lower difficulties, there's still plenty of time to react, but you're almost done with the fight, so let's not get complacent. When Zebak is defeated, the MVP of the fight will receive a fang, and you can then right-click to leave the ghost and go back to the main room to choose your next path. Up next, we will cover Zebak-specific invocations, and I will show you how they alter the fight. Not Just Ahead will grant Zebak access to blood spells for him to siphon HP off of his targets. Arterial Spray will increase the radius of the blood spells, granting him even more power if both are active. In solos, you're not gonna have to worry about this, but if you're in a group, just stay away from each other throughout the fight. With Blood Thinners, blood spawns will appear randomly throughout the fight. As long as you run away from them, this is really not that much of an issue, so just keep your distance. And finally, my least favorite one is Upset Stomach. With this invocation active, Zebak will let out even more acid and the jugs of water will cover an even smaller area, so you will have to be more precise with your pushes. And finally, some additional tips for Zebak. As it might be obvious, practicing the Hallowed Sepulchre might help you out a ton when clearing the puzzle room, since movement is crucial if you do this room first. Drink a dose of stamina potion for your pre-pot in order to avoid running out of energy in this room. As I mentioned before, there are 4 different patterns, so choose the one that's most convenient for you, because they all have their rhythm. If you're running solo, when you are making your way back to the center of the room, you can freeze the crocodiles with Ice Barrage, which will give you plenty of time to water the tree. And then bring another full jug back for a quick room without killing any of the crocs. And speaking about going back, you can hug the wall since there will always be safe tiles at the end of the spikes. Only run to the middle when you see there's a quick way back for you to avoid all damage. For the Zebak Fight, if you listen closely, both the mage and ranged attacks have a particular sound when coming out of his mouth. So if you don't want to take your eyes off of the prayers, you can use the sounds to your advantage. You can also push the jugs diagonally and they will stop after a set distance, so always calculate when it is time to break them. And speaking of, you can either shoot the jugs to break them, or leading them directly into a rock will make them explode automatically. If you don't see any good angle to take a jug directly into a rock, you can just push it and break it with a blowpipe, which will trigger the explosion much quicker. On a related note, when the wave attack is coming, you can left-click hit the jugs for them to explode and clear some of the area of extra poison. At higher levels, because of the path invocations, Zebak will attack much faster and you will have less safe tiles during the wave attack. Landscapers, as per usual for these guides, I am going to show you a fully commentated Zebak kill. I start with my Bandos Godsword, as I said before, and you want to wait for him to actually attack, because if you are near him when he's attacking, it can actually melee you. Not only is it going to deal a massive amount of damage, but it can also leave you with a bleed effect, which is most likely going to kill you at higher difficulty. Speaking of, as you can see, we are at a level 75 difficulty raid with a level 3 Zebak, and this is already attacking a lot faster than what you are used to if you do not run any of the path invocations. The first special attack, as you can see, Upset Stomach, is going to come in not handy, but it's going to play a role in here because there's going to be a lot more acid to work around. So after I push the jug into these tiles, I only walked over poison just a little bit. Don't worry, as long as you stay above like 70, 80 HP, it's not really going to be that bad. And after the massive roar, the rocks are going to disappear. Obviously, stay praying correctly, and as you can see, the blood spells are going to appear. Just go ahead and have some time to pray for mage, but that attack is not really going to be as devastating as some of the others. Walk away from the blood spawns or the blood clouds, and that should be good to go. As you can see, there is a ton of acid to work around, but as long as you can walk in an L, or if you're running, you can walk 2 tiles every single time. That was a melee attack, which was not really great. Even if you are not exactly in front of Zebak, it's going to potentially damage you with mage, okay? So make sure to stay 1 or 2 tiles away from it, just so you don't get chanced. That can be actually devastating. This one is really easy. All you need to do is push it into the rock itself, and as long as you have just 1 tile to work with, that is more than enough. So, as you can see at level 3 here, normally I do this at level 0, but I was trying a higher level one. I want to get my golden max cape, and running the path invocations seems to be like a, decent way to actually get to that 350 difficulty. So a higher level Zebak is going to be a little more common if you want to see those raid levels in the near future. After the enrage mechanic, you will see that you only have a few ticks to react. However, as long as you do this correctly, here I take 1 or 2 hits, which is not too devastating, and this paired with the blood clouds can be a little bad. As you can see, there I go, kind of managing it properly, but as long as you pay attention to the attacks and move away, it's not going to be that bad. So, there's the kill. I hope you enjoyed, and let's get into some extra information. And congratulations, you have now mastered Zebak. So, let's go back to the main hub and take on our next challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and of course making it this far. Please let me know what you think about this boss in the comments down below. I would very much enjoy reading all of your comments about it. A massive thank you to all my channel members. You boys and girls are absolutely amazing, and you have no idea how much your support means to me. If you want to go ahead and support this channel further, click the join button below for a monetary subscription, and so you can see all of the cool perks you can get in the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the other boss guides. Peace.